baby. The Oklahoma Sooners landed another transfer portal commitment. This one, I think, is big time because from what I'm hearing, it's going to be a PWO take. But Oklahoma, they're making moves here. And they get a guy from the 2022 class that they didn't originally land. And from the sound of it, you're hearing what you kind of heard across the board. Hey, Oklahoma, they're changing things. The BV defense, it's starting to show its works. Going into year 3, recruits are taking notice of what Oklahoma's doing. Folks, if this is your first time tuning into the PG Show, thank you. Thank you for tuning into the PG Show where we talk about all things college football. This is your first time. Make sure you hit that like and that you're subscribed. If you are a returning viewer, I still need you to make sure you're subscribed because a lot of y'all aren't subscribed, but you keep showing back up to the show because you guys want to talk about Oklahoma football. You guys know I love Oklahoma football, so that's why we're all here today. So make sure you're joining the discussion, jumping down in the comments below, and let me know what y'all's thoughts are because Jocelyn Malaska, did you guys know that Oklahoma did not recruit a 5'9" or a 5'10" cornerback? You heard me right. Oklahoma gets the commitment of Jocelyn Malaska, the 6'1", 178-pound cornerback hailing from Bethany, Oklahoma, ended up committing to Utah in the class of 2022. And this was a loss for Oklahoma. You really wanted to be able to keep this guy in state because, again, that has been BV's focus. So when you lost Jocelyn to Utah, a state that's kind of far from Oklahoma, you looked at it and said, all right, on to the next one, but it's not an ideal situation. At the end of the day, this is not the Lincoln Riley era of recruiting. You have seen Oklahoma go in there and snag multiple corners who, listen, they've got size and they've got the length and they've got the ability to go out there and play with the best of the best. He ran a 4.43 40. And he's 6'1", almost 180 pounds. This is what you guys have been asking for. Because so many times have I seen you guys in the comments saying, I don't want a 5'9", I don't want a 5'10", I don't want a 5'11" corner. Well, guess what, you hater Hank? You got a 6'1", dude. All right, let's take a look at some of his highlights from when he was in high school because he didn't see any action for Utah, or at least didn't record any stats for Utah. So we'll have to kind of look back at what he did at high school. And again, running that 4.43 40, you know he's an athlete. You know he's somebody that you can depend on that side of the field. But playing defense down there at Bethany High School, 107 total tackles, 58 solos, 4 tackles for loss. Looking at what he did in the passing game, 18 pass breakups, 7 interceptions. So this is a guy that he has good awareness of where the ball's at. And hey, you know what? A former 3-star cornerback out of high school, this is the kind of guy where BV finds him. He brings him into the program. And by years 3 or 4, this is a guy that has worked himself up into NFL draft status. Yes, we talk about that. BV is a very good developer, and he's very good at finding these diamonds in the rough. And so are the Utah Utes. I mean, if you guys go look at their team, they don't have a ton of blue chippers on that team. They don't have 5 stars on that team, right? They take the guys that are missed on the recruiting cycle by a lot of the big programs, and they go out there and they bring those guys in and they develop them. And then, you know, Utah turns out these teams that are pretty dominant, teams that were dominating the Pac-12. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, you feel really good about this pickup because Jocelyn Malaska is, as I've heard, a PWO, is going to be able to bring in competitiveness to this locker room. We talked about it many times. You bring in a local kid that has grown up in the state of Oklahoma to go in there and compete with scholarship guys. A lot of the time, they're going to have a little bit more of a drive to go out there and be better than those other guys that are on scholarship because they want to play for the school that they've grown up watching dominate their state, dominate the conference that they resided in. So Big pickup here for Oklahoma and getting a guy that, quite frankly, they just straight up lost in the class of 2022. And Jocelyn had other options in that cycle. He could have went to Vanderbilt, originally was committed to Texas Tech, could have went to Kansas. So he had other Power 5 offers. This isn't a guy that, hey, you look at it and he just had a bunch of G5 offers, which, I mean, I guess you can throw SMU in there now as a Power 5 school because they're going to the ACC. But he didn't just have a bunch of G5 offers or Division II offers, right? You look at him and you say, okay, like he had big time offers from other big time Power 5 programs, and Oklahoma goes in there, they get him out of the transfer portal. Now, the big reason why this is big news is because you're still uncertain about the status of what Woody Washington is going to be going into the 2024 season, your inaugural season going into the SEC, right? There's been rumors that Woody Washington's going to return, but you're not 100% sure yet. Now, you brought in Des Malone from Utah, actually, by the way. So interesting there. Oklahoma's taken 2 corners from Utah. So you've got a good, suitable replacement. You've got Makari Vickers in that room. You've got Josiah Wagner. So you've got younger depth in there as well. But, you want to get a couple more guys in there if you happen to lose Woody Washington, because Woody Washington is a big program loss for Oklahoma. He's been with the Sooners for a while, and yeah, it's just a hard guy to replace. So, Sooner fans, I need to hear from y'all. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Jocelyn Malaska committing to the University of Oklahoma, hailing from Bethany, Oklahoma, transferring from Utah. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.